So this is the last day with the GLK. It's going back to Mercedes, and we're actually getting a GLE for 2017. We only had this car for a year and a half, and I have a confession to make. I actually really love this car. The white paint is like indestructible. Like, we've parked this car on the street and it's been knocked up a couple of times, and you can't even tell there's no scratch or anything on it. Not sure. Mercedes did admit they use like a special type of white paint that pretty much scratch proof or whatever. We even got rear-ended. Not like a full rear end, but a light like traffic, the stop sign, a guy drove into the back. There's not a scratch on this thing, but really like this car. It drives really well. It's a V6 302 horsepower engine. You get 0 to 60 in about, I think, 7 seconds. I'm not sure on that number, but it is 302 horsepower. But because it's a bigger car than my BMW 3 Series, it's not, on paper, it shouldn't be as fast or feel as fast, but it does feel as fast as a smaller car with a similar engine. And BMW uses a turbo in their engine, so this is an aspirated, just regular inline V6. So the beauty of that is that there's no turbo lag or anything on this car when you drive it. So I'm gonna go inside and show you guys in a minute, but I just want to go outside. I like the look of this car. We were actually thinking about getting a GLC, but the GLC is, for me, we test drove that. It felt smaller, like it's a smaller car, and I think Mercedes was going more for a sportier look car in the GLC. And we've had a couple of the new C classes, the loaners. I did shoot a video a year or two ago on the C class loaner we had for 2015 and 2016, and the GLC SUV felt a lot too much like a C class and less like an SUV. And we wanted another SUV with the baby and stuff like that, and we were probably planning on having maybe another kid, so we wanted to go slightly bigger. Had this car been still the same design out, we would have kept this and just got another GLK. But the GLE, we got it for a little bit more. Mercedes, they do give really great deals when you return lease customers. They really do like make the numbers look very good for the customers. Now, there's a couple of issues I've had with this car the last couple of, maybe 6 months we've had this. We only had this from a year and a half, so it's probably about 10,000 miles in this thing, and it's already going back. The lease we did was a 2-year lease, but Mercedes, they'll usually call you 6 months beforehand to see, to let you know what offers they have that's current, and to pretty much get you out of your lease into a new Mercedes that you would lease for another couple of years. So pop the hood so you guys can see that engine. Car is started up. That's the cockpit. It's the sort of the outgoing style of the cockpit, and I believe all the cars should have the new cockpits. And I'll shoot a video when we pick up our car today. Probably won't shoot it today. It's like snowing and raining out here. But show you guys the engine. That's the engine there. It's a little dusty. Yeah, we don't clean anything in this car. It's never been washed. This car hasn't even had an oil change. That's how new it is to us. We never really took it in for servicing. Other than when we first picked it up, the car broke down the day we bought it. Mercedes kept it for a bit of service. You hear that rattle? Hear the engine. It's not much under the hood there. Now, one thing I did try to do was change the headlight bulbs from the yellow to white Phillips. And the bulbs sort of blew, so I put the original yellow bulbs back in there. So that's the headlights you get. The car does not have a lighting package. It's really hard to get a lighting package Mercedes in New York, an SUV. The C classes all come with a lighting package, but it is really cold out there. Now, this is a cockpit. You have the navigation, which is about 5 or 6 inches there across. It's not much to talk about. The interior is sort of the older ones, and the newer ones have the pop-up navigation. It looks like an iPad there. Now, one of the issues in this car that I've had is the Eco Drive, and you have to turn it off a lot of the time. Well, now when we drive this car, we have to turn it off as a safety thing, because the Eco Drive, what it does is when you're in a stoplight or stop sign or traffic light and you stop, it shuts off the engine, right? But last 6 months, what it's been doing is not turning the engine back on. So the engine shuts off, but the car also dies. but the car doesn't go into park. It stays in either drive or that neutral position. So the car, if you're on a hill, I'm sorry, where we live, there's a lot of hills. You either start rolling back immediately once you lift off the brake, because your anticipation is the engine will kick back on and then you roll forward or drive forward, but you end up rolling backwards into whatever's behind you at a really fast pace. It's not like it's a slow roll, it's a fast roll. So and the engine just dies, so basically you'd have to take the key out and put the key back in and restart the car, which is another reason why we removed the stop start button. Because with the stop start button, it was like almost impossible to do that, and you pretty much stuck in traffic with a dead engine, with a dead car until you put the key back in ignition. So that's been giving us a lot of issues. But right now what we do is when we drive, we just turn off the Eco Drive and don't use that feature at all, because it doesn't work. And it wasn't something that happened 100% of the times. It happened about maybe 90% of the time that Eco Drive was engaged and the engine was cut. You know, normally it turns off to save gas while it's idling, but it won't turn back on. But it won't turn back. It wasn't that it didn't turn back on. The car died, but it remained in D. So it was weird. It was like there's no power from the engine, but the car just was in drive and it just started rolling back. And the only way you could disengage that was turn off everything and then put the key back in and restart the car. And when you restart the car after the engine dies, you're praying that the car starts back up. So it wasn't safe. You know, we drive around the baby in this car. This is the baby mobile. So we kind of complained to Mercedes, and it's one of the reasons we're getting out of the lease kind of early than possible, because I think we had this car until next summer, and now it's December, it's Christmas Eve, and we had it until midsummer or July of next year. So another issue is that the ball joints on this car, I don't know if you can hear as I drive off, they're very creaky, and the ball joints are being worn out, or is worn out, because it makes that pirate ship creaking. When you roll off from a slow roll, it has that creaking sound. And when you go downhill or you brake, it has a creaking kind of creaking sound. Now, as far as an SUV go, give a little splash there. Driving down this is the parking lot for our Metro North station here. As far as SUVs go, this is a really fun SUV to drive. It's not a big SUV. I'm going to show you guys and put the car in park. And as well, you have the lever right there for all that fun stuff. So it doesn't have a lot of space. We started taking stuff out. Like there's a lot of baby stuff back here, but we emptied it out because it's going back to the dealership right now. It doesn't have a lot of space in terms of for an SUV, but for a small SUV like a RAV4 or CRV, Honda CRV, it's maybe the same kind of space as one of those SUVs. But you have the lift gate back here, and for some reason I never did a review on this car. We've had this car for a year and a half. I think I did a review on a C-Class loaner that we had for the week. This was in a shop. So that's the trunk space. And the thing with a small SUV, and I know a lot of parents probably looking at this video, or may look at this video, may be interested, is once you put a stroller in there, and we only have one baby, you have literally no space in this thing for anything else. Like you could put stuff on top. What we've been doing is you could slide that out like that, and you could put stuff on top of this, but it's not that firm. It's sort of loose. But once you have a stroller in here, you don't have, as you see there, you don't have room for anything else. So a lot of parents are expecting couples buy an SUV thinking they're gonna have lots of space for stuff. But when you have a baby, it's not just a stroller. You have the diaper bags, you have like different bags you walk around with, and that's that. And like I said, this white paint is indestructible. Like we've hit so many things, and that's just dirt because we haven't washed this car in a while. But not a scratch in this thing. It's amazing. And this is cool. You have the automatic thing. Now you could also do this with the key, so it folds down there. And this is the 350 engine as well. And it's funny enough, the GLE, which is the old ML 350, is the same exact engine. So performance, I'm interested to see what the performance is like on that one, but we'll see. But anyway, that's it for this video. Questions or comments, just leave them down below. I'll answer them on this car. But this is it. We've had this for about a year and a half now. It has about 10,000 miles in it, I believe, and it's going back. And that's it. Bye.